My sister thought stealing my baby name would make her money. It ended up costing her $30,000. I was staring at a night sky illuminated by 60 synchronized drones spelling out the name of my unborn, unconceived child, listening to a pre-recorded chorus of cheering influencers pouring from my phone speaker. My older sister had stolen my deepest, most sacred secret, turned it into a viral spectacle, and stamped a corporate sponsorship logo right across its glowing letters. To understand the absolute gravity of this betrayal, you have to understand the currency of our family. Savannah is a lifestyle mommy vlogger with 500,000 followers who treat her beige, aggressively curated life like a religion. I am a graphic designer. I work in quiet studios, hunched over drawing tablets, obsessing over kerning and color palettes. Savannah lives her life loud, broadcasting every manufactured emotion for ad revenue. Her children aren't just kids, they are content pillars. Her husband isn't a partner, he's a supporting actor in the endless reality show of her Instagram grid. I have always kept my distance from her circus, preferring the quiet sanctuary of my own life. For the past 5 years, I have been meticulously curating a legacy journal. It's a thick, cotton-pressed, leather-bound book where I sketch nursery layouts, write letters to the children I hope to have one day, and compile family history. At the absolute top of my list of baby names was something I had guarded with my life: Aurelia Solstice. This wasn't some trendy, Pinterest board mashup. It was a lifeline to the woman who raised me. My grandmother, Aurelia, was a fiercely independent woman who sailed, studied celestial navigation, and smelled permanently of sea salt and old parchment maps. She taught me how to find the North Star before I could ride a bike. She passed away on the winter solstice. The name Aurelia Solstice was my tribute to her, a deeply personal anchor to the history I wanted to pass down to my own daughter. I had never spoken the name out loud to anyone. It was mine. 2 weeks ago, against my better judgment, I decided to share it. We were having a rare, private family dinner at my parents' house. The dining room was warm, filled with the smell of my dad's famous roasted garlic chicken. Savannah was uncharacteristically off her phone, mostly because her brand manager had advised a digital detox weekend to build anticipation for her upcoming gender reveal. My parents were asking about my future, my partner, our plans for a family. In a moment of sheer, stupid vulnerability, I brought out the leather journal. I opened it to a page where I had hand-lettered the name surrounded by delicate, ink-drawn constellations. I told them about Aurelia Solstice. I explained the celestial navigation connection, the tribute to Grandma, the quiet strength the name carried. My dad teared up. My mom squeezed my hand. Savannah? She just stared at the page. Her eyes didn't hold emotion, they held a terrifying, calculating emptiness. Wow, she whispered, her gaze locked on the ink. That is, highly aesthetic. Celestial navigation. Very moody. Very marketable. It's not marketable, Savannah, I snapped, pulling the book back. It's my daughter's name. It's a secret. I'm only telling you all because I wanted to share something real for once. Promise me this stays in this room. She waved me off, rolling her eyes. Relax, Paige. It's safe with me. I'm doing a classic vintage theme for my baby anyway. I believed her. I felt the warmth of family trust settle into my chest. I should have known better. Trusting Savannah with a secret is like trusting a starving wolf with a prime rib. Exactly 14 days later, my phone started vibrating aggressively on my desk. I was in the middle of a client meeting, ignoring the notifications, but my lock screen was lighting up with rapid-fire texts from friends, cousins, and distant relatives. Did you see? OMG. Isn't that the name you wanted? My stomach plummeted. The heat rushed out of my extremities, leaving my fingers numb. I excused myself, locked the door to my office, and opened Instagram. Savannah's face filled the screen. It was a high-production value video, shot with cinematic lenses, color-graded to a sickeningly perfect warm neutral tone. She was standing in an open field at dusk, wearing a flowing linen dress, her hands cradling her pregnant belly. Gentle, acoustic indie music swelled in the background. We wanted a name that speaks to the stars, Savannah's voiceover cooed. A name that honors the ancestors who navigated by the night sky. A name that brings light to the darkest days. I felt the heat rising in my neck and my vision went blurry with rage. My lungs tightened as if someone had wrapped a steel band around my ribs. The video cut to the drone light show. 60 glowing drones lifted into the twilight sky, swirling into the shapes of constellations before snapping into a perfect, illuminated sentence. Coming soon, baby Aurelia Solstice. The caption read, "Welcome to the universe, Aurelia Solstice. Crescent moon sparkles. We can't wait to share her celestial nursery journey with you all. Huge thanks to our amazing partners for making this magic happen." She hadn't just used the name, she had stolen the entire narrative. She took my memories of my grandmother, my private grief, my intimate hopes for my future child, and fed them into a content grinder to spit out engagement metrics. I didn't call her. I didn't leave a comment. I grabbed my car keys, my vision swimming in a sea of red, and drove straight to her house. seconds. The tires of my sedan chewed aggressively into her immaculate white gravel driveway. I slammed the car door so hard the glass rattled, marching up the bluestone steps and pounding my fist against her custom oak door. Savannah opened it, a ring light perfectly positioned in her foyer behind her. She was holding a tripod, looking incredibly inconvenienced by my physical presence. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I screamed, the sound tearing out of my throat raw and jagged. "You stole my name. You stole Grandma's memory for a drone show." Savannah didn't even flinch. She leaned against the doorframe, checking her reflection in the glass of a framed art print. "Paige, keep your voice down. The neighbors can hear your absolute hysteria. I want you to take the video down," I hissed, stepping closer, my hands shaking so violently I had to ball them into fists to hide the tremors. "You promised me that name was safe. It's mine." Savannah let out a dry, patronizing laugh. She checked her phone screen, tapping a manicured nail against the glass. "I already have 2 million views across platforms in 3 hours. Do you know what kind of conversion rate that is? Look, Paige, it's just a name. You don't own the alphabet. It fits my Celestial Nursery brand deal perfectly. First come, first served. You aren't even pregnant. I'm providing for my family." I stared at her, genuinely unable to comprehend the absolute moral vacuum standing in front of me. "You are monetizing our dead grandmother's legacy before the child is even out of your body. It's called building a brand asset," Savannah said coldly. "Grow up, Paige. If you wanted to use it so badly, you should have gotten pregnant faster." She closed the door in my face. The heavy thud of the solid oak echoed in my ears, accompanied by the metallic click of the deadbolt. I stood on her perfect porch, breathing in the scent of her expensive eucalyptus diffusers, and I realized something fundamental. Screaming wouldn't work. Crying wouldn't work. Appealing to her humanity was entirely useless because she had traded her humanity for an aesthetic grid and a sponsorship check years ago. She only understood one language: digital dominance and corporate leverage. That's when the real bombshell dropped. When I got back to my apartment, I didn't cry. I made a pot of black coffee, sat down at my dual monitor setup, and went straight to the darkest corners of the internet, Savannah's tagged business pages. I am a designer, which means I spend half my life navigating corporate branding, copyright registries, and digital footprints. I started digging into the Celestial Nursery brand deal she had so arrogantly thrown in my face. It took me less than 45 minutes to crack it. Through a leaked PR brief I found on a marketing forum, I discovered that Savannah hadn't just done a sponsored post. She had signed a massive, exclusive, $25,000 contract with Sleepy Halo, an ultra-luxury modern crib and baby furniture company. They were launching a massive collaborative line. The collection's official name? The Aurelia Solstice Signature Series. The launch was scheduled for next week. The contract explicitly stated that Savannah was responsible for driving traffic to a dedicated landing page, managing an exclusive Instagram and TikTok account for the baby to promote the furniture, and maintaining the intellectual property rights to the name for digital marketing. She hadn't just stolen a name, she had sold it to a corporation for 25 grand before the umbilical cord was even cut. She needed to deliver digital assets to fulfill her end of the contract. She needed handles, domains, and trademarks. A slow, vicious smile spread across my face. I cracked my knuckles, the sound echoing sharply in my quiet apartment. First come, first served, Savannah. I opened 5 different web browsers. I brought up domain registrars, social media platforms, and the United States Patent and Trademark Office website. I didn't hesitate. I didn't blink. I became a machine fueled by pure, unadulterated spite and technical proficiency. At 11:42 p.m., my credit card was charged $12.99. I was the proud owner of AureliaSolstice.com. At 11:45 p.m., I bought AureliaSolstice.net, then .org, then .company, then .info. I bought every single viable top-level domain variation of that name. I dropped $300 on domains alone, ensuring there was absolutely no digital real estate left for her to claim. But I didn't stop there. I pulled up Instagram. I created a new account. Username at Aurelia Solstice. Confirmed. Then I went to TikTok. At Aurelia Solstice. Confirmed. Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat. Within 30 minutes, I had systematically registered every single social media handle under the exact name she needed. I used a burner email and locked them all down with 2-factor authentication tied to a prepaid SIM card I kept for emergency freelance work. But domains and handles weren't enough. Sleepy Halo was a corporate entity. They operated on legalities. They needed brand safety. I logged into the USPTO portal. This is where my career came into play. I know how to file a trademark. I know the exact legal classifications to disrupt an influencer's business model. I filled out the T's Plus application, paying the $250 filing fee. I filed the trademark for Aurelia Solstice under Class 41, education and entertainment services, specifically, providing digital entertainment, lifestyle blogging, and social media influencer services. Because I filed it first, and because I attached my pre-existing legacy journal sketches as intent to use evidence, my application was officially in the federal database. Any corporate legal team doing a basic clearance check would immediately see a massive red flag, a pending trademark dispute from an unassociated third party in the exact same business class. By 3 a.m., my trap was fully set. I didn't leave the domains blank. That would be a waste of premium digital real estate. Using my web design skills, I threw together a flawless, beautifully coded landing page for AureliaSolstice.com. It was stark white, clean, and brutal. In the very center of the page was a massive, high-resolution, black and white photograph of my grandmother, Aurelia, looking sternly into the camera from a sailboat in 1978. Below her face, in elegant serif font, was a single hyperlink titled, "The Ethics of Digital Exploitation, Why Children Are Not Content." The link led to a meticulously researched blog post about mommy vloggers who exploit their unborn children for profit, complete with statistics on psychological damage and corporate greed. Then, I closed my laptop, crawled into bed, and slept like an absolute baby. The silence lasted for exactly 6 days. I went to work, I drank my coffee, I watched the sun rise and set. I knew the exact date the Sleepy Halo campaign was supposed to go live. I knew exactly what was happening behind the scenes. At 9 a.m. this morning, my phone rang. It wasn't Savannah. The caller ID showed a Los Angeles area code. I let it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hi Paige, this is Chad, Savannah's talent manager. We have a massive crisis on our hands. Please call me immediately. It is urgent." I took a slow sip of my coffee, relishing the dark, bitter taste. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, the dam broke. My phone began vibrating so violently it nearly rattled off the kitchen counter. Savannah was calling. I let it ring. She called again. I let it ring. Then came the barrage of texts, a frantic, unhinged stream of consciousness pouring onto my screen. "Paige, what the hell did you do? Sleepy Halo's legal team just called me. They tried to set up the landing page for the crib launch and saw the website. Take grandma's picture down right now. I tried to register the baby's official Instagram to start tagging the sponsored strollers, and it says username taken. I know it was you." Chad is losing his mind. "Sleepy Halo is threatening to pull the entire $25,000 contract if I can't deliver the digital handles and the dedicated domain by noon today. You are committing financial sabotage. You are literally stealing food out of an infant's mouth. Call me right now." I watched the bubbles pop up, my heart rate steady and calm. I felt no guilt. I felt no remorse. I felt a cold, crystalline sense of absolute justice. She had built her entire life on the assumption that she could steamroll the people who loved her without consequences because they would always take the high road. She forgot that I am the one who designs the roads. I set my coffee mug down. I opened my keyboard. I didn't write an essay. I didn't yell. I typed out a single, calculated response, attached an image, and hit send. The image was a screenshot of a text she had sent me 2 weeks ago, the day of her drone reveal. I highlighted her exact words in bright neon yellow. "Look, Paige, it's just a name. First come, first served." Underneath the screenshot, I typed my terms. "I own the digital rights, the handles, the domains, and the pending trademark. You breached our trust. Now you are breaching your corporate contract. I will sign over the domains, transfer the Instagram and TikTok handles, and withdraw the trademark application today by 11:30 a.m. The price is $30,000, wired directly to my account. Non-negotiable. Don't think of it as extortion, Savannah. Think of it as a great price for such a valuable brand asset. First come, first served." The typing bubble from Savannah appeared immediately, vanished, appeared again, and then stayed gone for a long, agonizing 20 minutes. I could only imagine the chaotic, panicked Zoom call happening between her, Chad the manager, and the terrifying corporate lawyers at Sleepy Halo. They had already manufactured the cribs. They had already printed the packaging with the Aurelia Solstice name. Rebranding at this stage would cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. $30,000 was a drop in the bucket to save the campaign, but to Savannah, it was her entire sponsorship check, plus a $5,000 penalty out of her own pocket. While I waited, my phone buzzed with a completely different notification. It was a private text from my dad. My dad, the quiet man who had always sat silently at family dinners while Savannah filmed her food, the man who I knew deeply despised the way she plastered her life on the internet. He didn't send words. He just sent a single, simple thumbs-up emoji. I smiled, feeling a sudden, sharp sting of tears in my eyes. He knew exactly what was happening, and he was proud. At 11:15 a.m., Chad the manager emailed me a legally binding transfer agreement and a wire transfer confirmation for $30,000. Savannah hasn't spoken a word to me since. According to my mother, she is currently facing a massive internal crisis because her sponsors are demanding a review of her brand safety metrics. They realized that if she couldn't even secure the basic digital rights to her own child's name before broadcasting it to 500,000 people, she was a liability. The launch went ahead, but the engagement was entirely overshadowed by the sheer awkwardness of the delay and the fact that a cache of my digital ethics website had already been screenshotted and shared on Reddit's biggest influencer snark pages. The internet never forgets. As for the $30,000, I haven't spent a dime of it on myself. I took the wire transfer and marched straight down to a financial advisor. I set up an irrevocable 529 college savings trust in the name of baby Aurelia. I structured it with draconian legal precision. Savannah and her husband have zero access to the funds. They cannot touch the principal, they cannot touch the interest, and they cannot use it as collateral. The money sits there, growing quietly, entirely out of the reach of her mother's content-driven claws. It will be waiting for my niece when she turns 18, a silent apology for the fact that her name was bought and sold before she ever took her first breath. I lost the name I had saved for my own daughter. I grieve that loss every time I look at my legacy journal, but I made sure the sister who stole it paid the ultimate price in the only currency she respects. Am I the monster here, or did she get exactly what she deserved?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.